Hey yo, what's up? You know what it is. It's the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks on in RWBY, Volume 5, Chapter 8, Alone Together. Now, part of this episode, well, as you know, I take back this whole episode, is something I've been waiting for. Because this is where the episodes and shows that you where when the band starts to get back together and everybody doing all this, the shared experience episode and how you stand still for just a moment to reflect. Because a lot of the last couple episodes have been that, especially when you're dealing with Ruby, Weiss, and Yang and the rest of Team Juniper, and you got Oscar, he's falling in Nicholas, and you got Uncle Crow getting drunk, all of that. But this right here is the real emotional stuff, because a lot of this first half, before we get into the dirty, has been the sharing of experiences when it comes especially to what Yang has been through and all of this anger and this that's come up with her arm and everything dealing with that, and her relationship with Blake and how it involves said arm and the revenge she would love to get on Adam and all the things that go with that. We get the real gritty that Weiss opens up about everything that I spoofed a couple of volumes ago about how her mom got drunk all day. It was illuminating to just straight hear flat out that her daddy looked at her mom and said, the only reason I married you was because your name, Holding L. And I'm just like, that is savagery. That is just very unheard of. That is a level of savage that very rarely that I could get to. That you look at a woman and you tell her, I don't like you, but I married you because it was a probable chess move for me to make. And that's why when we saw Weiss a couple of volumes ago, that's why her mama was walking around sipping on some scissor all day. Because how would you feel if somebody turned to you and said, the only reason I'm doing something with you is because of what you can do for me. I don't love you. I don't care about you. Your existence means nothing. But the only reason I'm with you is because of what you bring me. And it's just like, I don't even know where to even begin to equate a feeling like that, because that's not a deep cut. That's a rip your heart out and stomp on that level. And I'm just like, it explains a lot. So I would like to take a moment to apologize to a fictional character, that being Weiss's mom, because yeah, we made fun of you sitting up here getting drunk all day long, but everything that happened makes a whole lot of sense now. And these are the type of episodes that I love. That when the thing you sat up here that you thought that was just something over here in the corner, and when they finally get that illumination television, you pull that light bulb and they jump into the thing. Y'all, I don't know if y'all watch One Saturday Morning, I'm making jokes, but look, to have that illumination as to why things were the way they were in the Schnee household, boy, that would explain her creepy brother, her evil daddy, and her drunken mama. It explains a whole lot in a way that's like, wow. I'm like, I feel for Weiss. I do. Because it's like, Weiss was always that character, that she held herself to a standard. And I respect characters like that. But when you have all this family pushing drama, and you have how kinda overbearing Winter was, because I have a feeling and understand why Winter ran the Atlas the way she did, because who would want to deal with what we saw in Volume 4? Who would want to deal with that? Nobody at all. However, I just want to back up a little bit because I want to get to the root of this early portion of the episode. Yang's feelings about where Blake went afterward. I'm like, Yang isn't the talk about your feelings type, and that's what I love about her character. She sits up here and does what's necessary to do what's right for the family, but it's like in that she sits up here and takes on maybe a little bit more than she should, and it's like all these things that have become, what's the word I want to use? I know, emotionally crippling. Like, to lose your arm, to pick yourself up, drag yourself up from your bootstrap off the ground, make this work, and then have this new stuff in your head about your mama, it's got to be a lot to take in. It has to be a whole lot. And we got a whole lot from Yang talking about what her home life was like before we met this character. We know Auntie Raven wasn't around. We know Summer Rose, who knows where. Yang did the best he could, but it was Yang that had to take on all of that to be who she needed to be for RWBY. And it's like, you've seen the stories, you've heard the stories, you probably know somebody who grew up a little too fast. You know that person. You may be listening to this and you may be that person. I wasn't that person. Just putting it out there. I'm not sitting up here saying that as a joke, but I'm saying that, anytime I can sit up here and show some love and grace to the boss, that I didn't have to like grow up and do all this stuff and look after my sister and all that, but we had that familiar unit and we looked after each other. We had close family members and we were tight, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it wasn't that you did it by yourself. So I don't even know where to begin to be the grow up too fast. There were things later in life I had to do when it was time to put up or shut up to make things happen, but that's a little different. I was grown at that point. I wasn't a kid who was still trying to be a kid. I'm like, for everything that I went through, I was allowed to be a kid. And I chose to be a kid, and you guys have heard a lot of my story on this channel when it comes to video games. That's how I wanted to be a kid. Because I didn't really get along with the neighborhood kids when I was growing up. I just wanted to be by myself. I wanted to dive in the worlds. I wanted to be the hero, and I had video games for that. So I don't really for real know how that feel. But to have Yang share that, that's character breakthrough, and you gotta love that. But the root of it, where's Blake Belladonna? See, you didn't know that I knew about Where's Waldo or Where's Wally, depending on what hood you stay from, but regardless, right? A lot of Yang's hurt is where's Blake? And I'm glad that this episode was some therapy and understanding why Blake did what she did. It's like, as someone who watches this show, who analyzes this show, who loves these characters and are part of these characters' journey, I understood early on why. It's like it was too much. And sometimes you have to walk alone to get what it is you need so you can be your best you for the people who depend on you. And that's what Blake did, and we have seen her growth over the past couple of volumes of walking that and understanding that, that you can't sit in your hole forever. And when we talk about Blake later in the episode, I just want to quickly just say this out there. Blake is really fortunate to have a fool like Sun running around with her to remind her what it is she needs to gravitate and to hold on to. And being around her parents has helped too. But when it comes to getting back to the point about Yang's feelings about Blake, yeah, I could sit up here and I could scream some Bumblebee, and there was a lot of freezer burn here, yeah, for all my shipping gang. Ship gang! The thing is that when someone leaves and gives you no reason for why they're leaving, to describe it or think about it, it hurts. Not to mention how and when Blake disappeared, and we understand why she disappeared. But hurt is hurt. and you can't tell anybody, you know what I'm saying? Because that's why they sit up here and tell you when you console somebody, the last thing you should sit up here and tell them that it's going to be okay. Because you don't want to force a person to work through something and they trying to process and deal. This episode, when it comes to these three ladies, Ruby, especially when she came in at the end, of learning to deal, that things have happened. But right now is the place where we need to bear all. Because, see, we are going to walk in the battle, and you don't want to walk in the battle with baggage. You don't. You want to stay focused because of what's on the line. And this is what these ladies need to be the best that they can in the war that's coming. Speaking of war that's coming, we need to take the back half of this episode. We talked about where is Blake Belladonna? Let's talk about that. Blake gets a note from Amelia like, yo, things is going down. I need you to meet me. Come rap with your girl. It goes south. And we knew it was. Because, see, a couple episodes ago when she talked to Corsac and Finnick, I wasn't really sure where my girl Ely's head was at. Her actions speak louder than any words she could say, but she had a lot to say. This is getting into a place that I think people are ready to explore, because we live in a world where Kurosami exists. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm not sitting up here saying that, you know, that this should be highlighted because it's love of a homosexual variety. No. Love is love. I know people believe different, and, you know, if this is that, love is love. You love who you love. The things beyond the surface of I love you, you love me, don't none of that extra stuff matter. So if you wanted my opinion on that in the middle of a RWBY review, here you go. I don't care. You love who you love. Love is special. Love is precious, and you protect it with everything you got. But sometimes, when love isn't returned, when love is spited, it can turn you into an evil monster. And it seems that Elia's true love for Blake was more than friendship. It was romantic. Sometimes, and it seems that in Blake's instance, when she heard all of this, that she was as floored as we were when we heard that. In more or less terms, I loved you in a way that you couldn't love me. How could you look at him that way and not look at me that way because I looked at you that way? You don't notice me? I'm not good enough? And when those thoughts start to enter your heart and enter your mind, they poison you. Because why did you reject me? Why? And it leads into exactly what we saw. That this is beyond personal. This is a beyond personal thing, because before, all we had was, you were my friend once, the bad guys that got in your head, rethink this. And that was Blake's argument this whole time during this, but nothing's worth what they say, that love of a scorned lovers, boy. I'm like, and Ely is a scorned lover, believe me. Y'all need to go think of a ship name for that. Regardless, what went down, that was heart-wrenching to watch. And it wasn't like one of those heart-wrenching things, because this season has been full of those scenes where emotions comes up. It was hard to watch, because understanding that in an instance like that, where all of your emotions are building, and words are coming out, you have zero filter, and that was Ely in that moment. I have zero filter, because I'm going to look you in the face, and you have no choice but to listen, and you're going to hear every single word that I say. I loved you, but you didn't love me back because you wanted Adam. What's the point now? There is no argument. When we bad, like I talked about the past couple episodes ago, I was unsure where Ilya's head is. We know now. This is some beyond, some hatred, some you stormed me. You continue to ignore me. I needed you and you weren't there. So guess what? The only reason you get to live is because boss man say you get to live. Oh, but your mom and your daddy, merc orders. Get them. You know why? Simple. Regardless of set all my feelings aside, here's what the truth of your world is. No one cares about us, but you want us to sit up here and fight for people who sit up here and either ridicule and embarrass and do unto us because we're different. Or the people who sit up here and say, well, it's not my problem because I'm not a faunus and I'm not a human and I don't care. Murder them all. Because we wipe all of them out, scorch the earth, and it's only us. And we only have us to worry about now. Your daddy getting in the way. Your mom, collateral damage. It is what it is. But here's the thing that before I get into my favorite part of this episode that I appreciate. Blake was smart enough to bring Sun. That's what I appreciate. That all the emotional stuff, that was wonderful. Do you want to know what that shows? It shows growth in Blake. She was smart enough to understand that Ely wants to meet me, but I know I can't trust the friend or not. Bring some backup. Because I honestly sat up here and thought that Blake ain't learned nothing. Because see, learning nothing would have been, coming to a place where a person who want to put a merc coat on you wants to put that work in and coming by yourself with no backup. I appreciate that Blake was smart enough to bring Sun with her. You think that, that's not important? No, that's a wonderful standing character moment. Because you understand, as the person watching this show, the characters you love to watch are growing. See, there was a Blake once upon a time who would have caught a note like that and went by herself. Hell, early episodes of RWBY were that. The big giant fight was Blake getting in over her. No, that was Yang, actually. I take that back. Yang got in over her head, the squad backed up. But then you learned all that stuff about her. Because it's but like I said, point standard. Blake was a character once upon a time who would have caught a note like that and would have went running by herself. But now she's learning that you got to be able to rely on your people. You got to rely on the people who got your back. And you got to be open to let people back you up. But let's get to the main event. I didn't talk enough about feelings and stuff. That God Gira. I'm like, yo, Callie sitting up here picking up the strap, dog. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, they rushed the house like Blake trying to call them. They sitting up here you Callie in a gunfight. I'm like, already. And then at the end, the way the episode ended, I'm like, that was one of the best endings of a show I've ever seen. The best endings of shows is where it's gonna stop, but it give you that taste of what's coming. I'm like, Gira sat up here, ripped off the shirt, sit up here I swear I seen his claws growing, bruh. I'm like, we finna see the God. We finna see the God. I'm like, he said he was sitting up here handling business though. He was sitting up here putting people in headlocks, and up here I think he put a dude in the Kimura, it's Brock Lesnar and the cousin. I'm like, damn. But Gira took off that shirt and sat up here. I'm like, man, Gira ain't gonna make it. But I want to see Corsac and Finn get their ass whooped. 2-on-1, I don't know if Miss Belladonna and that boy Young Sun are gonna make it back to the spot. But yo, if the whole episode is nothing but the OG God Gira putting in work, I'm like, we haven't had one of those type of fights this volume yet, where it's nothing but the grime out, dog, and Gira gonna tear somebody up. I'm like, they gonna get my guy, but Corsac and Finnick gonna know they been in a fight, and you know what's going down. It's like, I'm not sitting up here like wishing ill will on characters. It's like, yo, the character's fate is already set. People write the show, and it's already been decided. I don't really think my boy Gira gonna make it. I'm like, the only way Gira gonna make it is if Blake get there in time to save them before Corsac and Finnick hit him with a tag team combo and finish his ass off. But we gonna see. Overall, this was a wonderful episode of RWBY, dog. It's like, there's a lot of emotional moments. It's like, if you wanted your Freezer burn, you wanted your Bumblebee, because there was lots of Bumblebee action. Let me see. What's the Ilya Blake ship name, Internet? Let me see. Do you ship it? I'm naming it Firework. What? What is this, Charles? We naming it Firework. Wait. Cats and chameleons? Man. What? Internet, y'all crazy as hell. Alright, so let me see. Let me see. I got it. Per change. Right? Per change. Cats per, chameleons change, per change. That's what we going with. Internet, you get at me. You let me know what them ship names is, bro. You get at your boy. You know, I'm Lord of Ships. You get at me. You holler at your boy. I got you. Look. Wonderful episode. Y'all get up out of here. Go. It's Sunday. Go do something. I'm supposed to be going to walk on the mall to get some exercise with the one in the young. But look, regardless, y'all go ahead and y'all get up out of here. Y'all know who it is. The one and the only, the Triple the G.O.D. That is, of course, me. And I'd like to thank you for joining me for another installment of Triple the Gas Speaks on live on TGRF TV, where we always LIVE. And with all of that being said, I'll holler at you guys next time, man. Peace out.